Om Soba Vai Shuddha Sarva Dharma Soba Vai Shuddha. In a jiva vessel appeared the torma, they accumulate clouds of sensory pleasures. I turn it over to you, guardians of the four directions, and the harmful spirits who are karmic creators, abandoning harmful intent. It is fitting that you accomplish beings, benefit, and happiness. Putangenza, Tibetan. Renche no de dorman den yun ting, so jong ne ye len chan jong bong ho, ne sen bong la pen de zhe ba re, ber tang ge and manifest as exalted lady. The radiance from my heart shines forth through all the 10 directions, becoming an invisible sphere of protection. Ranye pamara sarve tuke wu, sojourn to be sunkor yomijo, benza raja. Again, white leg ready to the Buddha fair of the 10 directions, and it becomes an invitation to transcendent conquerors Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. With ribbons are posted and make altar, inner and secret offerings. I confess misdeeds and rejoice in virtue. I exhort Buddhas to act for the welfare of beings and to remain always. I dedicate all virtue for great awakening. The fears of accumulation dissolve into me. May all wayfaring beings have happiness, freedom from all suffering, and partial equanimity. From within the continuity of emptiness appears the secret place, the realm of Akineshata. Therein is an immeasurable ornamented palace and a precious watering land, with trees adorned by strings of jewels and otapala flowers. In the center of the palace is an excellent jewel throne with lotus and moon, in the center of which stands a tam syllable. Later from it accomplish two benefits. Through the transformation of the tam, I appear as the bead for brilliant white wish granting chakra. My right hand is in the gesture of supreme generosity. The left holds a white lotus. Both legs are in lotus position. I am adorned with the major and the minor mice and red rainbow color legs. I am adorned by the 8 jewel ornaments and the 5 silken garments. At the crown is Amitabha, and in my 3 places, the syllable on a home. From a white thumb syllable in the center of heart, leg ready is invited wisdom beings resembling myself together with the empowerment deities from the realm of Akineshata. Empowerment of non-dual union is conferred, and I am marked with a seal of the Lord of the family. Now we go back to Tibetan. Larya Ukara Soja Shendan Chi Chom Den De Mai Jar Se Chin Rang Chur Kepe Sansara Sanai San Chum Bur Dishai Ge Wai Yerang Rodong Kor Tayo Ge Ker San Cho Chen Bong Ho So Yen Ran Tem Roken De Den Shen Dong Hara Inda Rimi Tanyong Sho Dong Be Ngang Le Ne Yoro O Men Shen Pop Dan Yi Gu Tsen De Ren Jin Je Jumba O Para Norwen Ting Wen Zi Te We Ren Jin Che Zang Bei De We Tam Ye Wong Ti Tu Nye Se Yong Je Ranye Ye Yen Kolo Ka Saran Zi Sa yin chu jin yong bei bei ga ren zeng, xiab zong jie zhong zeng bi wu ngan bar, ren qin jin jie dar jie qian e jin, jie wo wo ba ne song ong a hong, tong wei dam ye ga le wun zhi bei, o mei ne ne gong zha wan lai jie, jin zhang yin mi wan go ro jie da jiu. Sa hong ba ho abe ge ga de samaya, shire ye hong o ben za ar gan ba ding gu be de ba, alo gen gen de ne we de, xiao da zha de za ye so ha. With the very crowns, gods, and demigods pay homage to at your lotus feet. Homage and praise to Mother Tara, Lady who liberates from every impoverishment. La da la men ju bian je, xiab je ben mo la du de, pong ba gen le dong ze ma, zhou me yong la san zer du. In the heart center of a transcendent conquerors, in a white wear, at its home is a thumb with on and a syllable on the right and the left. The thumb is surrounded by my name or the names of those for whom I in practice and by the longevity mantra. In the verse spoken are the eight white syllable beginning with the thumb in front and in revolving clockwise. The light gather and absorb the splendor and the power of everything animate and inanimate in samsara and nirvana. Thus I attain the supreme state of awakeness, order with mastery of life, mastery of life. In the three successive auto rings of the word are the vowels, circling clockwise, consonants, circling and clockwise, and in the auto ring are the syllable of the Ye Dharma mantra. Secondly, clockwise is the revolve rays of white, yellow, pink, blue, green, and violet light radiate, filling the body and emanating outward, creating constant sphere of light. In the intermediate spheres between each sphere are no newly blossomed otapala flowers, whose brilliance give rise to vitality, glory, strength, and for activities. Go back to Tibetan. Chom den de me tu win ko lo kar, de war tam dang ye yong ong he par, rang an zhe ze meng dang ce ngan tar, zeb je ye koren den nen zeb je kar,不见个人的等有心里头，的等着往人间求多久，可罗斯人没就送那样，萨日子也用什么也大也。过来我这干嘛人听从？定yang che ka zhong zhi li gang sen zhi gor pan za par sor de ka se ve wu jie le ye ze par do ji jo om ba sa ma de shi re ye so wa om ba sa ma de shi re ye so wa om ba sa ma Shiraya soa om basa mate 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 shiraya soa om benza atsindaya soa om benza atsindaya soa om benza atsindaya soa om benza atsindaya soa Om Benza Asindaya Soha, Om Benza Asindaya Soha, Om Benza Asindaya Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. Om Dare Du Re Mama Ayunjana Pinya Petren Kere Soha. So now here we're going to chant the mantra also same time. We can share each one's experience with Garchen Rinpoche. So usually I share all the time. So today is your turn. And we go to volunteers first, or we just call the name is first. Everyone can just talk 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. You can talk 2, 3, 4, up to 5. So then everyone has more opportunity to share. So it is our offering and good to share for each other, our Sangha. So that means like we support each other, Sangha, helping each other. Then good time to share is Garchen Rinpoche's birthday. So it's our own offering. So you can share like whatever you have something in your mind, like connect with Rinpoche, which teaching you really get benefit, something what you have. And so who want to go first? Maybe volunteer or one by one, or some, if you don't have to share also, it's okay. So that's, which is your also follow, feel comfortable. Yeah.
Khenpo, do you want me to talk about how we started our little Sangha up here?
Read first, okay?
Okay.
The not letter Sangha who create, like you have to share the like your connect with the Rinpoche.
Well, that was the story.
Okay. Okay. So first, French, you can go first. And the Gabriel is two, you can one by one. It's mute.
Okay. There's a long backstory which I won't tell, but the short story is I saw Ayang Rinpoche first years ago up in Rochester for Vajrasattva retreat. And I didn't understand anything, nothing. Didn't understand a word. And I thought, I can't do this. But I kept looking around and I heard about Garchen. And I took refuge in, I don't know, maybe 2015 something, a Kurakula retreat in Frederick, Maryland. And that was the first time I saw him. 1 week later, I had to drive the other direction to see him again near Rochester for Vajrakilaya retreat. I couldn't stop. And then I just knew this was the thing, but I'm still very nervous, shy, and afraid, or, just not knowing what to do, what I'm doing. I came to Drikung Dharma Surya in Virginia for long retreat. Didn't know anything, still don't know anything, but but the whole family welcomed us so much. I still can't believe it when I think about it. And we were swept up in a group and went out to a restaurant, and I'm still just, being shy and just going along with the group. I don't know what's really happening. So after the meal is over, there may be 10 people, lamas, and you were there, of course, and getting up to go, and I'm just looking at Garchen. He'd been sitting at another table, another booth, and I'm just looking at him, and he came over directly to me as I stood up. I never spoke to him before, really. He came over to me, put his arms around me, and hugged me. I can't explain the feeling except I hugged him back. It was just automatic. And without any thinking, I just said to him, you know, I love you. I love you. And that's, so I belong to Garchen. I belong to Garchen. That's all.
That's so
Thank you.
beautiful.
So Gabriel, same, right? Kind of same.
Yeah.
I met Garchen, French when he had met him at one of the retreats. He came home and he said, "You have to meet him. You have to meet him. He is so wonderful." So we had this opportunity, to go to. Actually, that was in Fairfax. It was not actually at Drikon yet. So we went there
At the university.
at the
Yeah.
and I don't remember if it was maybe his 80th birthday. It was a celebration also, but so we went, everybody could go in front, and I went to him, and he hugged me like we are dear old friends, and gave me a big kiss on my cheek, but it was just so sweet and so unbelievable. And I felt like I'm sort of melting, and that was my first interaction with him, my first meeting.
Mm.
And then we also, when we went back another time, we went to Drikun Center, and we were invited to have breakfast, with Garchen, and you
And
were
you.
there, and other people, and I was sitting next to him, and he was offering me food, and I mean, it felt just so, we were family. It was so wonderful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can't explain how the blessings come. They're just coming.
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you, Kempo. Thank you.
Thank you, French Gabriel. Beautiful story. So then, next is Lorna. Lorna is a very longest student
Yeah, long time, but nothing learned.
in Canada.
It's also a very long story too.
Share short, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
It's also with Iron Rinpoche. I followed with Iron Rinpoche before in the beginning. And then he asked one Dharma friend to invite this Lama. And said, okay, I will help. So I make all the preparation and helping him. I don't know what I'm doing, just helping. And it was Garchen Rinpoche we have to invite. So this is the first time he came to the North America, to Vancouver.
Mm.
And we prepare and follow his teaching. And I don't understand anything, what he's talking about, all the dharmas. And then he left and then went back to Asia and then came back and stayed in the USA. And so I went to the US first time by myself. I think it was in Arizona, I forgot which part. All by myself, and I don't know how I got there. And then stay in the hotel. And then when I went to his teaching, as he talked, he said, "Oh, if my teaching," Rinpoche said, "if my teaching is we have some connection, you will understand right away." Okay, and I was thinking to myself, and as he teach, my jaw keep on dropping and my eyes is popping out, and everything he's saying seems to I know him from before. It's just like French said, it's hard to say. It's as he's teaching and teaching his experiences, like I know him. The first time it was too rushed because I was when he was first here in Vancouver, is all rushing and preparing, so I don't have time to really get into it. But when I was in the States and he's teaching, and as he talks, everything is it seems a connection. I know him like everything he's saying, his experience seems like I understand. So I knew it. That's it.
Good.
Teachers, we know each other.
Okay.
And then as time goes on and following his teaching is, once he says something, some teaching, then I just keep on following his teaching, like whatever he teach. It's long, but I don't understand all. But once I pick up a little bit here and there, then just follow and practice along on that, on his teaching.
Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then Marilyn, ready to share?
Okay. I haven't known Rinpoche as long as many people. I had the good fortune of meeting him in 2013 just at a big teaching, but in 2017, Lorna and Akemi were organizing for Kempo to host Garchen Rinpoche and asked me to help. So now I'm gonna start to cry. So every time I was in his presence, my heart cracked open and I just cried and cried and cried and cried. It was tears of joy. It was blissful. It would just, I can't explain it. It just, my heart just cracked open. So it was so, and there were some really wonderful experiences that I don't want to talk about, but at that time, Rinpoche asked us to start a group because there was no place for his students to practice in the Vancouver area. And so we said, oh yeah, sure, okay, but didn't do anything about it because I don't know anything. And I was like, how do I lead a practice? I have no idea how to do this. I'd been to lots of practices, but I just didn't feel that I was capable of doing that. And so we got to the fall and of 2017. And I thought, well, Rinpoche always says, if you think of me, if you pray to me, I'm right there with you. So I thought, okay, so I prayed really, really, really hard to him. Like, what do we do? How do we do this? And miraculously, a Sangha member who I did not know, I had only met once, hadn't been to any of Kempo's teachings, sent me an email and said, I want to join your practice group. I said, well, gee whiz, we haven't started yet, but I'll let you know, we're just afraid, we're nervous. And he said, well, that's okay. I'll come in, I'll do White Tara. I'll lead the practice. I'll do White Tara. I go, oh, okay. So I set up a meeting with a few Dharma friends to come and do the practice together. And when I told the story about how I had prayed so hard to Rinpoche, David's wife stood up and said, you know, this is really quite remarkable because you're telling me when you were doing those strong prayers, David came out of his office and just looked at me and said, I have to call Marilyn now. I have to join her practice group. And so that is how our Sangha started, with those strong prayers to Rinpoche, a heart connection. And yeah, it was just unbelievable, unbelievable.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Okay.
Yeah, so then next was EDG. We always like to calling your name.
My story is kind of weird, I guess, but I just sitting here thinking, the spark in me started back in 1958, actually, when I was a teenager and I read a book on Tibetan mysticism. I wish I could re-find the book again because it took many years to get on the path, if you will. when I really got on the path, I mean, that set the spark way back when, but when I really got on the path, I think was in the 90s, when the Dalai Lama visited Washington, D.C. and brought the sacred dances to there and witnessed that and listened to him talk and so forth. And then I started out in Nyingma, the Nyingma tradition. And I participated there very regularly. And then for some reason, I visited the Tibetan Meditation Center there close to Frederick. And when I went into that place, I felt like it was like being home. It felt like I belonged there. It was just a feeling. So continuing on from that, I stayed with the TMC for quite a while and went on a couple retreats to Arizona, Garchen Institute, and I did sit beside Garchen at the TMC one time, and he's just such a loving person. I every time I see him, even now, I see pure compassion. And when he talks, even when there's 100, 200 people on the internet, I feel like he's talking to me directly. When he smiles, when he waves, everything is in tune with. I feel he's talking directly to me. It's wonderful. And I guess I really didn't focus on learning Buddhism. Now I'm more interested and more involved in studying and understanding. And the 7 supplications to Tara for me right now is the roadmap. I go through, every morning I go through and recite the 7 supplications to Tara, and sometimes I linger on one sentence and try to understand the meaning. And I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through understanding. So that's what I mean by it showing. It's a roadmap for me being able to understand progressively. That's the best way I can explain that.
Thank you. You finish or you?
Well, you said thank you, so pretty
Okay.
much.
So,
Yes, thank you.
okay, thank you, Adiji. Yeah. So then next, Debbie Jackson, Ohio.
Oh, I didn't think of a story. Well, the one story that I'll tell the story of the first time that I met Rinpoche, and it changed my life. But it was kind of an interesting way to meet Rinpoche. I had decided I was going to find a teacher, and I had never met a Lama or seen a teacher before. And I had a friend of a friend who told me about Gargeroma and that Garchen Rinpoche was going to be teaching there. He was doing some empowerments, green and red Tara and white Tara. So he was doing all the Tara empowerments and some teachings. So I am an hour away from the center. So I drove up and I was there. I had been there once before, and I arrived, and at that time at the temple, the basement area, Rinpoche and the group would stay there too. They stayed down there. They slept there. So there was kind of some doors that blocked that off, and then there was a common area. And so when I arrived, I was standing there waiting to use the restroom. And so one of the people was very kind, and they said, oh, go in here, it's okay. So they opened up the door, and I walked in, and they closed the door behind me, and it was kind of dark. And I turned to the right where the restroom was, and there was Rinpoche. He was, as Rinpoche often is, with his skirt on, no shirt, shirtless at the sink, getting ready, and I'd never even seen a teacher before. So I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You know, so I'm like this and I'm bending down and I'm like, but you know, Rinpoche, he was at the sick and all of a sudden he turns around, he goes, oh, you know, he's oh, and he ran out, he's clapping, and he grabs me and we dance around the room. And, you know, it was really beautiful. And then he whirled me around, he pushed me into the bathroom. and I, you know, turned around and he waved, and, you know, kind of went like this. So that's how I met Rinpoche. So, and so then that was at Gardroma. But it's always just so Rinpoche, like no matter where you are or what you're doing, and particularly if he senses any discomfort in anyone, he immediately changes the situation so that there's just a lot of love and support and, you know, helps the person, you know, incredibly, you know, so.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so then next, Zui.
Sure, I haven't met, sorry, I just want to get this off my view. I don't like looking at myself. I haven't met His Eminence at all yet or anything, so I don't have a personal story. But I guess my story really starts with you, Kampala. I was really drawn to you, and then the first sit that I came to, that was it. I just needed to be with you. And through you, I met His Eminence, and I asked you if it was okay if I took refuge with him, because I had, anyway, that goes, it goes off topic. So, but so I took, as soon as I took refuge with him, it was, you could feel his love. Even over Zoom, you can feel his love. And that includes all of you. Like whenever I'm with him and on Zoom, I can just feel the love. I just feel like we're all one. He makes us all feel like one, like brothers and sisters, and his joy and his love is just absolutely amazing. So that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Zui. Okay, so then Nesher.
First of all, neither one of us had any idea who Garchen was. So it was actually serendipity. It was totally magic how this happened. We were working, each one on his computer in separate rooms in our house. And this banner came across my screen telling me things to do in Vancouver. This was 2017. And I thought, why am I being advertised things to do in my city? I know what to do. And then the banner keeps going and it's Garchen. And I thought, they're advertising a religious ceremony. This is so strange. Garchen. So I Google Garchen to see who he is. And I go, oh my God, this is a really important Lama. I call Raul and I go, look at this. This guy's going to be in Vancouver where we are. We can go see him. So I Google, it was not Ticketmaster. It was another service. And it said, very few seats left. And he said, I'm working. And I said, no, because I'm buying the entrance. I'm buying the tickets right now. You can't work this weekend. So I bought Saturday and Sunday. I bought the tickets. And I go, you got to find a replacement. You got to do something. We're going to see this Garchen. And then we took refuge with Garchen, which is always a very emotional event. It does bring tears, spontaneous tears. And then we met Kempo, who invited us to dinner, and that's it. We signed up to help Marilyn, and now we're instrumental in helping her set up the center in Vancouver. It was a very magical meeting. This banner came across my computer telling me, you've got to go see Garchen.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of a background story also. We first encountered the Dharma in the 90s, and we took refuge with Lama Chamspa, and met Khenchen Konchok Gyaltsen Rinpoche, and we were members of the Sangha there. There was a stupa built in the retreat center there. And then our Lama had a stroke, so he couldn't keep on teaching. And then we have moved and lived in different places. And when we came to Vancouver in 2007, then we settled here, and I started looking for a center to go in the Lama, because we had all the leisures, the endowments, and the precious human body, and we practiced a little bit, but we really didn't have a Lama. So when Michelle found Garchen, and we went to see him, and then I saw you, Kempo, I went and asked you if we could be your students, and you kindly accepted. So here we are. Thank you very much, Kempo, because through you and through Garchen, we're being guided now, and that is incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so then next, Fun.
Yes, hi, Kempo.
Hi.
My story, well, it goes into, many periods of things, but I think that Rinpoche have saved my mind and my spiritual soul. Because I start in 2006 searching for some kind of Vajrayana, but I didn't find any teacher at the time. I think that my karma wasn't there yet. So I keep researching, but I have a lot of, issues at home because as an Asian woman, there's so many boundaries and rules, and it was very tough. I thought that life should be more free, but I guess that my mind was free, but the rules just bind me. And so I had to stay home and just, do prayers to Guan Yin, who is Tara. So then I tried to research more into Tibetan Buddhism. They said that it's really cool. It has a lot of explanation. You don't have to just chant. I need teaching. I need something to explain to me. So I start to research, and then 2006, I went to a teaching by the Dalai Lama, and he was teaching Heart Sutra. I was really mesmerized by it, and he was telling, you can become enlightened by three ways: one as a king, and one as a captain, and then another way is a shepherd. And I was thinking, where is my shepherd? I need a shepherd. And then just like 3 months later, I heard there was a teaching in Maryland at Susu's house. I have no idea who Susu is, who's the teacher. So I just kind of wondered, find the place, find the address, and I just went there. And actually the house was not the teaching place, it was somewhere else. But then suddenly, the door opened, and there's this sweet little elderly man in a red skirt walking in quick. I think that Rinpoche was just finished teaching, and he quickly wanted to find a bathroom. So he went up to the stair, went up, and then he went down again. And then I was still hanging there with a few people, kind of mingle. I have no idea what to do. And then he waved, and then I kind of look behind me and see if there's anyone there. Maybe he was waving to somebody else, but no, he was waving like this. And then he went like this, come. And I wasn't sure, who would just want to talk with me. So I keep looking around, but I couldn't see anyone. So I was like, me? And then I came over and I bow. I know that he's a monk. He walks with a cane, and he kind of resembled like a shepherd. I said, maybe this is it. And then he looked at me tenderly, lovingly. He held my arm, my hand, and I bowed to him with deep respect. And then he took my hand, and then he put it in his armpit. And I thought, oh, this is strange. And then he pulled me around. So I taggled behind him with my arm in his armpit. And then he sat down on a chair. And then I just stood there with my arm in his armpit. And so I thought, oh, this must be interesting greeting, but it's okay. I should be, courteous. And then just a few minutes later, I wiggle my hand so I can pull it out. But the minute I wiggle my hand, he squeezed his armpit. and I thought, this is very strange. But I was a little bit embarrassed. I didn't know, but I looked around because, in Asia, with lamas, with monks, the women between the lamas and women, we always need to keep like a space. Again, it's just the rules and the boundaries. But Rinpoche actually knocked and crumbled down all the walls of rules, regulation, all the binding that binds my mind. He just broke it all down, all those walls. It just crumbly, crashing down due to his beautiful and wonderful compassion. I just couldn't believe that I stood there for maybe 15 minutes with my hands in his armpit. And then, I felt a little bit embarrassed. But then Susu came back. She was translating for him. And then she saw me, this strange girl we've never met, with my hands in his armpit. So she came and greeted, and then she said she'll be, serving lunch. And so I asked Rinpoche if I can go and help everyone to serve lunch. So he released my arm, my hand, and I was so relieved. But I think that was actually a really beautiful blessing, because after that, my meditation was like clear. Weeks later, every time I meditate, I see him. He is truly my teacher. I felt so much connection, even though I have met so many lamas, but no one touches my heart or my hand in that sense. And then 2011, I met Khenpo, and I thought, wow, Khenpo is so funny. Sometimes a little bit, silly at times, but his compassion is actually very similar to Rinpoche. I thought it was a wonderful connection. And then, we invite Khenpo down. So that's how I started with Garchen Rinpoche and then with Khenpo. They're two different package, but the same heart.
Thank you, Fawn.
Thank you.
Zenda, please, next.
Okay, let's see. I met Rinpoche one year at a teaching. The teaching I went to was Chakra Samvara, Red Chan Rezi, and Smoke Offering in one weekend. It was amazing. And then, it made a huge impression, of course. I told everyone I knew to keep coming he was here for a week. I kept saying, come, skip work, come to this. This is really special. But then I didn't know, maybe some time went by. I didn't know how to keep connected to him. And a little while later, I saw a flyer. He was going to come back to town. And I called up Yanfen and I asked if he could come to this prison and give a Dharma talk to some inmates. I was like doing some volunteer work there. And she said, he said yes, he said yes, which was just an amazing thing for me. I had asked many lamas to come because we lost our teacher and I certainly didn't feel qualified to be leading, and I really needed help that way. And Rinpoche said yes. And there was tons of paperwork involved to get everyone approved. And he had to get up super early to come. Dealing with the prison is very inflexible. They have so many rules and requirements. It was completely inconvenient. He just met everything they said to do. And it was a beautiful talk. At the end of the talk, the bell rings and the inmates have like a certain amount of time, like 10 minutes to get back to their quarters. And usually they hurry up, not to get into trouble. And they all, instead of leaving, they all went toward Rinpoche to touch his hand and shake his hand. It was so beautiful. I was just like on cloud in the clouds for weeks, really. It was so amazing. And that blessing there at that prison, the Buddha relics had actually come to that prison one time before that. There's really amazing blessing there for everyone. So that was fantastic. And I was so blown away by his compassion, that this High Lama would do this inconvenient thing. And that just won me over completely. And so then I started, so during one of the teachings then, when he came to Seattle, I met a Sangha member who told me about Khenpo's Stages of Meditation course, which was online at the time. So right about that time is when I met Khenpo too. Is amazing. And of course, I mean, I feel close to him. I felt like I met him, but he didn't know who I was. I was just watching through my computer. But it's been a fantastic journey the whole time, learning from Khenpo and seeing Garchen Rinpoche as much as possible. And now it's very possible with Zoom. So the blessings are immense. I have to say, the last time he came to Seattle, Rinpoche came to Seattle, he gave a teaching on Kunten Sampo prayer. And I think that maybe was my favorite teaching. It's really quite a crazy thing to say. They're all so wonderful. But that teaching really, I remember him talking about anger and saying how, you just destroy, it just is the ruin. He's used the word, it's the ruin of you. You ruin your life by expressing anger. And it was just a huge teaching for me, as all of them are. And I really I feel so blessed to be in this circle of love from really, I feel like Rinpoche's mandala embraces all of us. It's just amazing. Thank you.
Here, Sandra. Liza.
Hi, Kempo. Hi, everyone.
Oh,
Sometimes
yes.
this Lisa or the other Lisa?
Oh, you can go first. Yes, we have two Lizas.
No, it's okay. Let the other Lisa can go first.
Okay, then other Liza go first. Liza Baskin.
Okay, thank you.
We have three Lizas actually.
Who goes?
Okay, you go, Liza Lois.
Okay. Many years ago, my best friend told me there was a teaching from Rinpoche and that I must go. And he said he would meet me there. It was at the pool house in Gaithersburg. So he was going to meet me and take me home. Well, I had a really hard time finding the pool house, but I got there just in time. And it was a wonderful teaching on Guru Rinpoche. And I looked for my friend and he never came. Then when the teaching was over, it was dark and my friend never came. And I didn't know anybody. So I had to walk, I don't know, 4 or 6 miles to the metro. I walked and it didn't feel like anything. It just didn't feel like a walk at all. And then as years, I had the great fortune to be at Susu's house when Rinpoche taught there. And one time I just wrote a letter for Ina to read to him on the airplane. And in the letter, I told him, thank you for helping me see again with my heart. I told him, I think helping a person see again with their heart is more valuable than caring for 100 monasteries in the sky. I said something like that. So when Ina read it to him on the airplane, I was sitting on the floor and I felt Rinpoche touch my feet and I just felt a great deal of love. And it just opened my heart, like saved my life. And then one time we were at breakfast, Lama Benima, Lama Abo, Ina, and Rinpoche and I said to Rinpoche, are these teachings so great that they're all the practices just to say thank you? I asked him that question. It seemed like a silly question. And of course he just said yes. But that clarity and that opening my heart in that way, I owe all of that to Rinpoche, to know how great these teachings are And they really are all about saying thank you. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. Louis, happy birthday. Your birthday today too, right?
It is my birthday. And
Okay.
It's been a wonderful day. I bought myself a vow on my birthday. It was so much fun.
Yes. So then please, Lisa Bushmin, Bus or Chamin.
Bushman. Okay, thank you, Kempo. My story is actually quite different than many other stories. I started out in 1992 as a devotee of Satya Sai Baba. So he was my guru. He still is a guru. And so I was really practicing mostly Hindu kind of a Vedanta style meditation and practice. It's very oriented toward doing service, always, making your life devoted to doing service for God. And so then I felt, I found my guru, I found my path, everything's just great. And then in 1999, I met my husband-to-be, who was a Buddhist, also a devotee of Satya Sai Baba. So he introduced me to the world of Theravada Buddhism. And he was a kind of person that wanted to be in the temple just every weekend. So we were always going to different temples, we were around monks and all that. And I never really caught on to Theravada Buddhism in the sense that I was always feeling like, but it's inconsistent with what Sai Baba says. It just doesn't seem to match. And I have my guru and I'll listen to Buddhist teachings, but it just doesn't seem to really touch my heart so much. And then in, I guess it was 2010 or 2011, when I was at a Buddha Fest with my husband, there was a presentation of the movie For the Benefit of All Beings. And I I don't know, I watched that movie and it just really touched me so intensely. And at the end of the movie, they said, okay, we've got a surprise for you. Suddenly on the big screen in this big, sort of movie theater type place, there's Garchen Rinpoche on Skype, live. And it was such a shock to me that he was, I think I just broke apart. I was just crying and smiling and everything at the same time, like, oh my God, I can't believe he's there. And it was completely overtaken. And I thought, I have to see him. I have to meet him. I can't believe he's here, And so, but it was, I was unable to actually see him in person, except for a very quick glimpse at the Kala Chakras, the big ceremony in Washington, D.C. that the Dalai Lama did. So I just saw him in passing, but I was just so excited to be able to see him, even though it was in a huge crowd. And then, but I still felt my allegiance to my guru, Satya Sai Baba. So, but I also felt an intense sense of wanting to do service. And I'd been teaching children in Buddhist Dharma school, at the temples, just teaching the children in these Theravada temples. And I thought, well, why not maybe open up a class for a temple that belongs to Garchen Rinpoche. So I ended up at DDSC, and I sort of, let somebody know, let Jeremy know, I guess. Jeremy was there, and he is a child psychiatrist. And so he said, oh yeah, you should do a class here. And so he got me in touch with Fawn and others. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I need to have like a team of teachers, because I don't want to just sort of take over, especially since I've not been practicing Vajrayana Buddhism. So then we formed a little team. And in 2015, we started teaching children. And then I still hadn't had any contact really with Rinpoche until, I guess it was 2017, that I went out to Prescott, Arizona, where there's a big Jigten Sumgan Monlam. And I really felt like a fish out of water. I just didn't know all these people, and I just knew Fawn, and I was so glad she was there. And she dragged me up to, we're going to go see Garchen Rinpoche in person. And she was introducing me to all these lamas, and I was just like bowing to all these lamas one after the other. And then it was time to meet Garchen Rinpoche. And I was just like a scared cat. I think my whole body was just shaking and trembling in fear and humility and in excitement and devotion all at the same time. I just wanted to cry, I guess. And I didn't know what to do. And I had been, used to the feeling of being around monks, that you should be extremely deferential and humble and sit apart from them and sit lower than them and never, never, ever, ever touch them. And Garchen Rinpoche, he pats the seat next to him, and he's telling me to sit there next to him, which is completely not allowed in Theravada Buddhism. So with all this training for like 10 years that I'd had with Theravada Buddhism, I thought, I can't do that. But yet, I feel like he is my guru and he's telling me to do something, I'm going to obey him. So I just kind of scooched myself up there next to him, trying not to touch him. And then he puts his hand on my back and he's just rubbing my back and calming me down. And I'm shaking even more because it's like, oh my God, this is so not allowed. Fawn was probably thinking it was quite funny. And then Garchen Rinpoche at the same time was being so loving toward Tri and Kwang, Fawn's brothers. And I just sort of felt that love that he was sending to them. And then I calmed down and I realized it's okay. He is like an embodiment of love and it's okay. And he was, always rubbing my back, like as if he was healing me. And I really felt that he was completely healing me. And I was really completely devoted to him from that point. And so that's pretty much my story. So from there on, I'm so devoted to him and so glad that I can be on his path. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next, Lisa, Gorge, Grace.
Hi, Kempo. Hi, everyone. I'm not very good at usually making these kind of speeches, and I've never met Garchen Rinpoche. I have been on the path for over 10 years, and I do have several teachers that are within the Drikung Kagyu lineage. So I had heard of Garchen Rinpoche on and off for several years, but I really started following his practice and watching him on Zoom and his YouTube and his Facebook when I found you, Kempo. And I thought it would be crazy for me to say that when I see him and he's teaching, I have that same feeling other people have described, like I have known him all my life. I get very emotional when I see him. I feel like he is like the embodiment of everything good that has come into my life. And I know that kind of is maybe not, we focus on the good, but to me, that's what he is. When I see him and I hear his teachings, I have a feeling like I've come home, like you've been away from home for a very long time. And that feeling, that overwhelming, warm, good, comfortable, happy feeling you have when you come home or when you encounter your best friend. Let's say you haven't seen your best friend in a long time and you see them, and that feeling of joy that overcomes you. It's a very similar feeling to me. And to me, he is the embodiment of compassion and goodness in this world. And I really, I admire him so much for his love for nature and also his love for animals. I really relate to the story he talked about in The Lama of Many Lifetimes, when he was in the prison and he had to take care of the pig, and he had one he named the Bodhisattva pig. So to me, this is like, he is a perfect example of how you can take such a negative situation and turn it into something positive and remain positive and remain happy. And I get the feeling like other people have talked about, like he's not so, standoffish where you would have to stand a certain distance away from him and not touch him or not, not have that kind of interaction with him. So I have a feeling that if and when I do meet him, that there's this instant connection, like a heart connection, a heart and soul connection to him. And I really don't know much more to say other than happy birthday, Garchen Rinpoche.
Thank you, Lisa.
Many long lives to you.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next, then we can do only 2 people, no? Then other we can do tomorrow. So Laming. Yeah, hi, Laming. Can you share?
Yeah, I can.
Yes,
I first met Garchen Rinpoche in Chicago, and we took refuge. When he cut my hair and put it in his pouch, I feel safe. I immediately feel safe. I will say that maybe I will never go to any lower realm. And because Garchen Rinpoche put my hair in his pouch. And then I heard people say that he's going to go back to Taiwan to have Yamataka. Have no idea what is Yamataka, but we have to chant like 600,000 times. Some Manjushri mantra, so we have to go to us. A Lama give us, so I chant there and call my brother and sister in Taiwan, and they said I never saw my sister that crazy to any teacher because they know that I met many teachers. And so they also want to join the Yamataka. And so we all I went back to Taiwan. My brother and sister was in Taiwan, and we were doing Yamataka in Buddha's world, the temple. And my sister became a Buddhist nun after that. And I was really surprised. No one believed my sister will go become a nun. Everyone thought I will become a nun because my sister is those disco girl, nitro dancer, and all those kind of things. But she become a nun. And I asked when I went to, I don't know because I'm not a good listening teacher. Sometimes I just wander around and just like, but Garchen Rinpoche I don't listen to his word. Just he himself make me feel I want to cry. I want to be close to him. I want to do anything I can to do. And Taiwan was extremely hot during that time. And the temple had no air condition. So I fold up my notebook and just next to him and just fan him, want him to be cool. And people just say that I was crazy because everyone know that I was a professor during that time. So they thought that I was really crazy. And related to Campbell, because when I came back, and then last year at the beginning, I have a dream of Garchen Rinpoche. I was really sad in that dream because I worried that Garchen Rinpoche was saying goodbye to me. And so I just go to the internet, search and want to go to Arizona again and to see him. And then I found Campbell. So I thought Garchen Rinpoche just tell me that go to see this Lama and just listen to him. So I joined the group. Of course, I have several struggles because I'm a very eccentric person. So, but I have to say that Garchen Rinpoche, when I first met him, like I am going home and he's my mother. And I never really listened to teaching very well. But he said that, oh, you have to practice the 37 Bodhisattva practice. You have to read it every day. So I read that for a few years. Every day I spend 20 or 30 minutes to read through the whole thing. And then I use one word in the 36 words and practice for a few years. And it helped me so much because about your mind. And so it made me see a lot of my shortcomings. Because of that, I feel I got the teaching from Garchen Rinpoche, not because he teach what he was saying, because I forget everything. But when he say we have to study, and then every student have a small book like the 37 Bodhisattva practice. So I just chant it every day for a couple of years. And then I use just one word and keep on practice. And it just tremendously helped me. So, and I love him. Thank you.
Thank you, Laming. Okay, so now I think time is finished. So we're going to do the practicing, go back to practice. Then we can continue tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, sharing your story or connection with the Rinpoche. And now we go to continue the practice. Tara. Om Dare Tu Re Mama Ayunjana Penya Perten Kure Soha. Om Dare Tu Re Mama Ayunjana Penya Perten Kure Soha. In the English, in the Jiva verse, arising from emptiness is the Dharma, adorned with 5 sensory pleasures, and offer it to the transcendent conquerors. Thus, cause the lives of the glorious gurus and the victors' teachings to flourish, and as a result, cause the validity of person, the patrons, and all wayfaring beings to increase. Tong le ren che no de tor ma ne, den yo nga den chom den de ma bo, par den la me ke se jar den je, den de jem dan ro gen se pe. The mandala before me is a perfectly arrayed Buddha figure, lovely to behold upon a brilliantly radiant, or there were flowers, it is the center. Is the transcendent conquerors whose major and menormais blaze with splendor. She has one face and 7 eyes. Her right hand is in the gesture of generosity. The left holds Otapala flowers. She is adorned with silken garment and jewels. At the crown is Amitabha, and in the 3 places, the syllable Om Ahom. From the thumb in the center of her heart, the leg radiates. Thus, the wisdom beings resembling herself inward from Akineshata and is inseparably absorbed. Om Aryata. Okay. Om. When I invite you with the force of undivided faith, transcendent conquerors, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please come to regarding me with great love. Tibetan. Danger Mendara Penzo Kubeshin, Dana Duwe Odon Barweting, Jomden de Man Saint Busy Jimbar, Sharje Jinden Sayen Chu Jindan, Yombe Upar Tartan Renjinji, Jewar Opa Neson On Ahong, Towe Tamle Onje Omene, Gomra Jindang Nimi Tembar Jor, On Jomden de Mai Jarwai Se, Mese Te Top Jindang Na, Se Chin Tuji Gong La She, On Arya Tare Benza Samai Rare and visualize offering substance, alter inner secret and suchness. The 5 types of sensory pleasures, water for drinks and ablution, flowers, incense, oil lamps, fragrance, water, food, and music, the royal attributes. The auspicious embers, the worth and glory of gods and men. All these are for us oceans of some Samantha offering close to the noble example. Om Rinjo Yetoran Chepeze, Senai Samai De Kona, Chuyun Shabsara Medopi, Marme Trecha Sharzero, Denyo Nanga Jarseta, Lame Pamjara Kinzanki, Chutin Jamso Pazon Chu, On Arya Tare Sapare Vara Argam Pate, Pipe Dipam Aloke Gende Nevete Shabda Tradita Soha Shabda Gende Rase Sapar Sherina Mangala Punzao mentally appropriating Mount Meru the 4 continents and the subcontinents with the enclosure, the divine bodies, the enduring bloom for the universe adorned by Vairocana, and all things owned and not owned. I offer them to the transcendent concourse, Rina, Mandala, Punza, Munga, Hong. Go back to Tibetan. Rara Lingye Lingtin Koryo Je Lane Dongson Menze Nam Nanjin Darbe Zongdang Ma Zong Nipo King Dali Langde Jomdin De Mambo Rina Mendrala Punza Munga Ahong. Anointed with fragrant water and strewed with flowers. This vast ground is adorned by Mount Meru, the 4 continents, sun and moon, through my regarding it as a Buddha field and offer it. May all wayfaring beings enjoy the pure realms. Saye Bija Sochen Meto Tam Rara Linye Nyede Jimbande Sanje Shen La Mekde Purwaye Droken Namda Shen De Jubarisho. To noble Lady Ayatara and all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas who abide in the 10 directions and the 3 terms, I pay homage with a complete sincerity, manifesting rare and visualized flowers, incense, oil lamps, fragrance, food, music, and so forth. I make offerings, please accept the example of the exalted lady. I confess the 10 known virtues, the 5 acts of direct consequence, and all the harmful deeds of the mind controlled by delusion from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the merit of whatever virtue has been accumulated in the 3 terms by the hearers, solitary Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, ordinary beings, and the like. According to the interests and the diverse capacities of sentient beings, please stand aware of Dharma of the 2 greater, lesser, and the common vehicles. Until samsara becomes void, please do not pass into nirvana, but regard with the compassion sentient beings swallowed up in the ocean of suffering. As all the merit I have accumulated as the cause of awakening, may I become before long a magnificent guides of wayfaring beings. Tibetan. Jesen Pamai Duma Dang Soja Tison Yobaye Jarwai Seje Tamje La Kene Tanwe Sanselo Meto Dope Marmetre Sharze Romo La Sopa Ninjor Yeje Ternember Pame Soje Yesasor Toma Mine Tadebar Mege Jodang Zamenga Semne Nyomo Wanjarape Dikpa Tamje Shaparaje Nyente Ranjara Sanjoksen Sose Jewo La Sope Tison Gewai Jezaba Sonam Lane Dayerang Semje Namje Sambadang Loye Sera Jedawar Chechong Tumong Tikpaye Chijung Kolo Gordeso Korwa Jese Matongwar Nyangi Menda Tujeye Donghara Jamso Singwaye Semje Namla Zexasor Dage Sonan Jesaba Tamje Sancho Jojorne Rimporo Moton Rowaye Rimpe Parde Da George Om Bengani Tatreza Hongpe Om Sobawa Shida Sarva Dharma Sobawa Shida. Jiva Veser is the Torma, the refrain essence of nectar. I offer it to the exalted lady. Please cause wealth and glory to increase. Renche no de Torma Drezeju. So today we skip the 21 Tara. Go to I don't know the page, your page. So we says, Arya Tara, with your compassion, please purify the true obscuration of myself. It's end of the 21 Tara. Do you get? End of the 21 Tara, they say, Arya Tara, with your compassion, please purify the true obscuration of myself.
I think it's 34.
Okay, so they have each one has a different books, I think. Maybe 34, I think, it's yours. Mine is 50, so I'm using this kind of book is different. So English is the same, right?
Yeah,
Same,
no,
same.
different.
Huh.
Page 39 on one I downloaded from Garchen Institute.
Okay. So just skip the 21 para, finish it, then write it there, right there.
34 is in the link that you sent.
Okay, 34. Then if you download from the link, 34. Thank you, Gabriel. Sorry about it. This English is hard to read, so I did so many mistakes. I have to confess to you. I'm going to do more mistakes. Arya Tara, with your compassion, please purify the true obscuration of myself and the wayfaring beings, and bless us to complete the true accumulations in all lifetimes. May the harm caused by the 8 or 16 pairs be pacified, and may practice merit and spiritual worth increase. May all wayfarers be free from danger and attain awakening like yours. Hado Tuje Dando Drimye Jan Sonye Zote Chicken Jije Ju Memden Shete Drupsu Chin Joroje Broken Jidoro Chuyen Sanje Sho. In the heart of an exalted lady is a white thumb surrounded by the mantra garland. It's ready like that accomplish the true objectivity and inherent enrich the vitality and glory. Tokar tam karang han ten kor onti tonze tse para je para jo om tare tu re mama ayun yana penye peren kere so om tare tu re mama ayun yana Pinye peten kure soha. Om tare tu re mama ayun jana. Pinye peten kure soha. Om tare tu re mama ayun jana. Pinye peten kure soha. So no, Mary, do you have a cake, right? God Roma there, groups.
Yes, we've got the cake.
Yes, ready to light the cake
Light
and
the
ready
candles.
to eat. Yes.
All right. We're going to show everybody the cake first.
Yes, we want a cake, please.
Okay, everybody want to sing happy birthday to Garchen?
Yes, please, everyone.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Garchen. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. And many more.
Okay.
Also, my dogs, Rocky and Suri, wishes for Garchen Rinpoche a long life.
Oh, Sandra has a cake too.
I love the cake full of
Yes, Sandy has a cake.
Bye, Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you, Kartotma.
Thank you, everybody.
85. Happy
you.
birthday.
Nick.
Birthday, Garchen Rinpoche. Long life, Garchen Rinpoche.
Long life.
Long life and good health.
Hello.
Garchen
Long life,
Rinpoche.
Garchen
Long life and sweet dreams
Rinpoche.
tonight.
Yes.
Thank you, long life.
Long life.
Long life to all. All the beautiful stories will bring us many sweet dreams. Thank you, everyone. That was so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love the stories. They were all unique.
Yeah, very unique, beautiful.
So many different paths.
But I
Yeah.
think the best is
Different
each-
path, get into the same mandala.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, Nicola.
We're going to do the supplication.
Thank you, everyone.
No finish, no finish. Practice is not yet finished.
Oh, we're not finished.
We haven't finished dedication.
I thought we were supposed to just keep
Pray,
doing
offering,
mantras.
and, so we have to chant the supplication. Tara is offering, long life, takes celebration, chanting the supplication Tara. Okay, so supplication Tara. And Amida, please, can you chant the supplication Tara lead?
Yes, Kimberla, thank you. Yes, 1 second, I'm pulling it up.
Should be right.
We go on mute, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So everyone mute and we chant supplication together.
Okay, almost there. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Me pechering na yunje sunamo mazo desem kona de terma takti ba kone captu so ramcher koyen parma she par semyon mong angdu girbai Makorwar Kyampe Simchinla Yomlamo Kirki Kaptu So Churning Negula Makipar Tanye Sigi Jirangne Drupta Ninpelar Pala Yomyangda Gila Me Kaptu So Tokpar Kawarangi Sem Tongne Kompar Me Shepar Sawanin Ping Hala Yumdrim Pela Me Kaptu So Simrang Jung Ime Yeshila Nisu Tsinpe Baktaki Jitar Chekyang Jingpanam Togni Me Kila Me Kaptu So Yangda Gidun La Niche Kyang Gudre Kitindrel Me Shepe Sheche Derla Mungpala Yumkon Kinge La Me Kaptu So Trudrel Nam Kai Tsini Chen Tam Che Dedang Yer Me Ki Tadung Lob Me Gang Zagla Yumzok Sangye Ki Kaptu So.
Thank you,
Happy
Amen.
birthday, Sheila. Thank you, Kimpola.
Om Arya Tare Sapare Vare Argam Pading Pipe Depe Aloken Gende Neve De Shabda Sade Saya Soha. With their very crown gods and demigods, pay homage to your lotus feet, homage and praise to Mother Tara, lady who liberates from every impoverishment. La da la mein ju bin je, shab je pe mo la du de, pong ba gen le don ze ma, do me yom la san ze. Arya tare samaya mane palaya, Arya tare tino pa, te tan dendo me bawa. Sobe kayo me bawa, sobe kayo me bawa, anme rato me bawa, sarvai siddhe mentayan, sarvai karma siddhai me, siddham shiyang kuru hong, ha 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 ho, bangavade maryatare mame men, ayatare ko bawa, ayatare bawa ma samaya. As you have forgiven whatever faults have occurred due to deficiency, imperfection, and my deluded mind, it is fitting that stable accomplishment be comfort. Although you abide together with this image here in the phenomena world, please fully bestow vitality free from disease, power, worth, and the like, as well as the supremacy. Tibetan, Manjo Yongse Mandro Tang, Dalo Mongbe Wangene, Noba Kanchi Zunzula, Nidro Tamba Zoware, Om Dene Ting Tang Linje de, Korwa Sei de Yong Ne Jiang, Nemi Ce Dang Wan So So, Chonam Le Parazar de So. So now we skip that next verses, go to the like the mighty king. Like the mighty king atop the victory banner, our attained the city of worshipping the goddess. May the auspicious blessing of the Guru and the Yadam be present. Through the virtue of my approach, accomplishment, and worship, may wayfaring beings safely realize you. Tibetan. Jamsen se mo wan jurda, lamen chebe ngudomni, lama la ye trashi sho, dake nyendo chubaye, geven runyor chundo sho. So now we going to chant only the English. Only English. Franz Gabriel, please, can you chant the English?
English of, I'm not sure where.
It's a transcending around the victorious lady. Starting from, yeah.
I have a different translation. It says, exalted, transcendent Lady of Triumph, compassionate one, may I and all innumerable sentient beings purify the two obscurations and swiftly complete the two accumulations. Thus may we attain complete awakening. Until then, in every lifetime, having obtained the sublime bliss of gods and humans, may the obstacles hindering the attainment of omniscience, interfering spirits, epidemics, illnesses, and so forth, as well as the various causes which lead to premature death, nightmares, evil omens, 8 fears, and all danger be quickly pacified and eliminated. May abundant auspiciousness, prosperity, and happiness, both mundane and transcendent, increase and proliferate. May every purpose without exception be accomplished effortlessly and spontaneously. May we persevere in the practice, and may the sacred Dharma flourish. Through continuous practice, may we behold your sublime face. May we realize emptiness, and may precious bodhicitta broaden and expand like the waxing moon. When we are born in the victor's excellent and lovely mandala from an exquisitely beautiful lotus, may Amitabha, the victorious Buddha of infinite light, give his prophecies again, and thereafter may we gain attainment. In every lifetime, I have thoroughly realized the deity who accomplishes the enlightened activities of all the past, present, and future Buddhas. Bluish green with a single face and two arms, she is the swift subduer. May the auspiciousness of our mother who holds an Utpala flower be present. Queen Mother Tara, may I and others become identical to you with your retinue, lifespan, pure realm, and nobly superior marks of perfection. Through the power of exaltation and supplication of you, let disease, malevolent spirits, poverty, and quarreling be pacified, and let the Dharma and auspiciousness flourish for myself and others wherever we may live. Having discarded physical deformities, you possess the marks of perfection. Having discarded impediments of speech, your voice is the melodic birdsong of the Kalavinka. Having discarded lapses of the mind, you perceive all that should be known. May the auspiciousness of the lady who blazes with glory be present. Om. Homage to she who protects from the 8 fears. Homage to she who blazes in auspicious glory. Homage to she who blocks the gate to the lower realms. Homage to she who leads on the path to the higher realms. You are my constant companion. I pray you will eternally protect me with compassion. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you, French. Om dare tu re mama ayun jana pinye peten kere so. Om dare tu re mama ayun jana pinye peten kere so. Om dare tu re mama ayun jana pinye peten kere so. Om dare tu re mama ayun jana pinye peten kere so. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kempo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So see you tomorrow.
See you
Thank
tomorrow
you,
morning.
Kempo.
Thank you, Campo. Have a good night.
Thank you, Campo.
Thank you,
Campo.
Tomorrow.
Thank you, Dharma
Thank you,
family.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Sangha.
See you
Good to
tomorrow,
see
everyone.
everyone.
See you
See you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.